You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
Let's stop the food from going into the Gulf of Mexico. So that's what we're doing here, and if it's fertilizer, then we will come back with not a resolution, but a really hardcore ban on it.
We love our green lawns, but now the city of Venice wants to know if fertilizer is making red tide worse. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the impact fertilizer is having on our environment in a moment, but first, our top stories at 7. At the same time, Democrats from the Sun Coast and across Florida are mourning the sudden death of April Freeman, the Democratic nominee in the 17th Congressional District. They are scrambling to find a candidate to replace her just weeks before the midterms. The Democrats have just 5 days to find a replacement for Freeman. Each Democratic chair of the 9 counties in the 17th Congressional District will submit the names of possible replacement candidates. Then a vote will be held by October 2nd. The ballots have already been printed, so April Freeman's name will remain on the ballot with an insert to inform voters they will actually be voting for the new designated nominee. The chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party says it's a race against time.
Have to jump on this in the next 5 days. We'll have our candidate, unfortunately, because of the loss of April, but we want to get a viable candidate to run against our opponent, and I think we can come up with that person.
The candidate chosen will run against Republican Greg Steube. They will need to submit a $10,400 filing fee. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and election officials are working to sign up voters for November. The Sarasota County Elections Office is hosting voter registration drives over the next few days throughout the county. The goal is to get more people registered in time to vote in the general election and to help people make last-minute changes. Tomorrow there will be a voter registration drive at the Northport Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and Thursday at the Sarasota County Schools Fall College Night at Roberts Arena from 6 to 8 p.m. The last day to register is October 9th. A dog is dead after being electrocuted when he stepped on a manhole with wet paws. The incident happened Saturday night on Dade Avenue in Sarasota, just off of Fruitville Road. The owner says the dog, Charlie, stepped on the manhole. He started convulsing and died shortly after. The owner says even though they are grieving, they hope others can learn from it.
For people to be careful and cautious with power lines, electrical. Who would ever think that you couldn't walk over one? I would never even think that.
The city of Sarasota, which owns the manhole, says the dog was electrocuted because of a burnt wire underground in a pull box that had come in contact with the metal lid. The wire has been repaired, and the staff is performing precautionary inspections of other boxes in the area. A law set to take effect Monday in Florida, allowing deaf drivers to voluntarily identify themselves as hearing impaired when they register their vehicle. Under a bill passed during the 2018 legislative session, a hard of hearing driver can check a box when applying for a license plate that says that they are hearing impaired. Then if the car is pulled over, the law enforcement officer will immediately know the driver is deaf. The idea comes from a Tallahassee police lieutenant whose son is deaf and currently learning how to drive.
Where this helps you is that before the officer approaches the vehicle, he already knows, he's going to have to change tactics on how to approach the driver because the driver won't hear him.
It is estimated there are more than 400,000 deaf Floridians, along with similar number of drivers who wear hearing aids or have age-related hearing loss. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the First Alert forecast. Bob.
Well, they are hearing the thunder down south in South Sarasota County right now. It's been all over the place. It started off in Palmetto near Ellington and Bradenton. Then it's worked its way down into downtown Sarasota. We had some big storms there. Now in South Sarasota County, the storms are fairly heavy. Even east of I-75 near Fruitville and Bee Ridge, we had some big storms earlier. Notice how the trend is down south now. These storms are weakening here. Still some lightning strikes around, so not okay to go out and resume your golf game in North Sarasota County yet, despite the fact the rain may be light and lessening up. I guess it's too dark to play golf, but sometimes if you're in a lighted golf course, it's not too bad. Heavier storms down to our south right now. You can see that activity near Venice and stretching down into South Venice. And Osprey, some light rain right now, also up near I-75 and Clark Road, some showers and some thunderstorms still occurring, but that rain is lessening. We'll have that light rain kind of lingering for the next hour or so, like we saw last night. Venice, though, you can see that rainfall near Nokomis, heavier storms near the Venetian, stretching down near Warm Mineral Springs. Boy, a tremendous amount of lightning near Tarpon Point. And Murdoch, Minnesota Key, getting some heavy rainfall there. Inglewood, you've had some heavy rain over the last half hour, and this causes a ponding of water on the roadways there, and some of the roadways may be impassable right now. So remember, if you don't know the depth of the water over the road, you should not go over it. And you can see that lightning continuous now near Port Charlotte. This is all heading to the west at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. So you can expect that rain to be around near Inglewood and also South Venice for at least the next half hour to hour as it moves to the west. I just updated the app too. It allows us, this First Alert weather app, to get in there and actually give you video updates on what kind of weather you may be experiencing. I just did one for South Sarasota County. So if you have that app, you'll get the update immediately. You don't have to wait for TV. So go to your web store and download the app. Thanks. Alan?
Thanks, Bob. Would you give up your green lawn to end red tide? Think about it, because the city of Venice is. ABC7's Rebecca Fernandez has the story.
Alan, as our beaches are starting to get back to normal in Sarasota County, the need to reassess fertilizer impact here in the city of Venice is not going away.
When you have what's happened here and throughout our county here, some bold action has to be taken. The rainy season fertilizer ban is not cutting it.
The city of Venice, like the rest of Sarasota County and many other counties along Florida's coast, has a seasonal ban of fertilizer use to limit pollution from going into the Gulf of Mexico.
There is evidence that algal blooms use nutrients that are available to grow. So while there's nutrients coming from lots and lots and lots of different sources, both from inland water bodies, naturally occurring in the sediments in the ocean, we want to make sure that our outfalls are not contributing excess nutrients that are making this worse.
Venice already has a very successful stormwater treatment system that takes rainwater from our yards and our streets, removes nutrients, then cleans it underground before it gets dumped into Suncoast waters. But the city wants to determine just how much removal there really is, and if fertilizer is indeed the main culprit.
That's going to mean physical water sampling at these outfall points so that we can really tell what is coming out of them in more of a real scientific way.
City Council passed a vote unanimously last week to buy technology to make these samplings happen, and soon. They're not going to wait for the county to step in or for the state of Florida to take action.
Let's stop the food from going into the Gulf of Mexico. So that's what we're doing here, and if it's fertilizer, then we will come back with not a resolution, but a really hardcore ban on it. But council needs to have the real hardcore facts first.
And in the meantime, the city is urging residents to stop fertilizer use all year round, because either way, extra pollution in our waterways means more food for this toxic algae.
So it's speculation and theory right now with no scientific research backing that up. So the best way to combat the problem right now as a homeowner or property owner is to be knowledgeable and educate yourself about your lawn and landscape. You don't have to rely on fertilizer for your lawn and landscape. You can use compost or organic items that can help make your grass greener or your plants stronger, your flowers bloom more without relying on fertilizer.
And Sarasota County tells us that for now, they'll just be keeping that seasonal fertilizer ban. In Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
In the moment, His Honor, the Mayor of Venice, the Suncoast Waterkeeper, and a secret guest at the Trapezoid. Stay with us.
40 Carats Family Center and the Community Foundation of Sarasota County present a free speaker event, Unselfie, Why Empathetic Kids Succeed in Our All About Me World, featuring parenting educator and author Michelle Borba at Riverview High School on Tuesday, September 25th at 7 p.m. Help children become successful, moral, courageous, and resilient. RSVP required at 40carats.org. That's FORTY carats.org.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
It's hard to see when you're outside at night. It's time for the Atomic Beam Sunblast, the new solar-powered light that's super bright. Atomic Beam Sunblast lets you add a light anywhere, and the atomic solar panels charge the built-in lithium-ion battery quickly. Then the 180-degree motion sensor turns on the light when you get near and automatically turns off when you disappear. Look, here's a best-selling outdoor solar light, and here's the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast. Get the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast for only $19.99. But wait, call right now and you can double your order and get a second Sunblast, plus our best-selling Atomic Beam Flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. That's 2 Atomic Beam Sunblasts and the Atomic Beam Flashlight. Call now.
Call 1-800-431-6640. That's 1-800-431-6640. Or visit mysunblast.com. So call 1-800-431-6640. Order now.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
The world is a beautiful place again.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
Welcome back. Be honest, how many of you get frustrated when you can't take advantage of the rainy season and fertilize? You know you want to. We love our green lawns. Some of us, not naming names here, obsess over it. Who doesn't like the lush, thick carpet of green with the perfectly manicured edges, Bob? On the other hand, who loves this? The stink of death that we can't even estimate the number of fish in sea life because of red tide. Is our lust for the green resulting in red tide getting worse? That's up for debate. But the city of Venice wants to find out. And joining us for more are ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Venice Mayor John Hollick, and Andy Melee, the Suncoast Waterkeeper and the Sierra Club VP. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. And Bob, let me start with you because this is something you and I talk about all the time. How are our lawns doing?
Right.
And you've made a conscious effort at home really kind of to scale back on the fertilizing just because of this.
Yeah, I don't even use fertilizer. I have not used fertilizer, and I don't know if I'd call it a lawn. I'd call it weeds that are green that I cut.
I wasn't going to say that, but
I, for one thing, you know, it's funny. My daughter was talking to me the other day about the green lawn, and she wants a real nice, healthy lawn. And she brought up the point, how about putting down some sort of indoor-outdoor carpeting? I said, well, people do that, but it's expensive to do. But think about the savings as far as no gas, no lawn to cut, and it's a little bit hard in maintenance, but it really, these alternatives is what I'm thinking about. Fertilizer, obviously, being a problem. With washout.
And I want to talk about all that. And obviously, Mayor, this is what a lot of people out west in the Midwest, I'm thinking about Arizona and Mexico, their lawns are basically pebble and plantings. And one of the questions I had when I was looking at this story is, you know, in Venice, like many other communities around here, you have a lot of homeowners associations and people get into trouble if they don't take good care of your lawn, because I've been there. And I would imagine as you and you know the city council are wrestling with this, you're also kind of getting people who are pointing this out to you.
Well, we received a lot of emails regarding fertilizer, and it was about 50-50. 50% wanted to continue to fertilize and wanted the lush green grass, and about 50% said don't fertilize. So we did a resolution, and the resolution basically said it was a voluntary give up of fertilizer. I don't use it at home. It's not necessary down here. But You're correct. The HOAs, the homeowners associations, that's a separate governing body, and we're very cognizant of that. We try not to interfere with their governing body, just like we don't want the state or the county to interfere with ours. So the HOAs are really pushing it.
And I want to talk about alternatives in a moment, but Andy, you know, as we said in our story, there's no scientifically proven link between the fertilizing and the severity of red tide that we have right now.
That's true. You know, the fact is, anybody who owns a lawn knows that it gets green and lush all by itself when the rainy season starts. I don't understand the compelling need for fertilizer to begin with. And there's the native Florida lawns. There's a whole rating system. Go to the county website and learn about native Florida lawns. They're yards. They're beautiful. They're diverse. They've got permaculture in them. They do all kinds of cool things like, you know, give you oranges and grapefruit.
All right.
They're wonderful things.
We're going to talk about this more in a moment. Our conversation on the impact fertilizer is having on our environment continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Changing seats back here now in front of the wall, and we are talking about rain helping out the lawns across the area right now. Some heavy rains at times. I had a couple of rounds of showers, one at around 3:30 near downtown Sarasota, another one right around 5:45, and now a beautiful sunset in store here along the Sun Coast, and you can see those beautiful colors offshore. A little twist in the atmosphere off the Carolina coast. We've been watching this for over a week now, and it's not all that strong. Reconnaissance aircraft investigating the area. Pressures aren't all that low. Good news is that it's not intensifying. There's still a slight chance it could turn into a depression as it heads toward the Outer Banks of North Carolina overnight, and then eventually carries off to the north. Now, for us, the explosion of storms continues now in South Sarasota County, near Englewood, Minnesota Beach, all the way over to Northport. The light rain falling across parts of Manatee County now. You can see that in Bayshore Gardens, Bradenton, Palmetto. Had some heavier rain earlier near Anna Maria Island. That has since moved on, and we'll continue to see this light rain linger here for the next hour or so in Manatee and North Sarasota County. The heavy rain's over for North Sarasota, but this down here is lingering, and that means the potential for some flooding along some of the streets there. Again, the showers and storms that were around Heritage Oaks and Laurel Oaks still gone now, but still some lightning strikes around. That's within the last 15 minutes there. And then you can see near Venetian, some heavier rainfall. Center Road near Plantation in Venice, not as bad. Venice also showing some light rain there now, but South Venice, and especially in Tarpon Point, near Northport, near Warm Mineral Springs, stretching down to Englewood, is where this rain has been heavy and producing rainfall rates up to 1.5 inches to 2 inches an hour. And that means you're going to see those totals come out of here once again, and that's fairly close to where we saw it yesterday too. Now, the showers here into Highlands County, not a big deal. They're going to be winding down here fairly soon. All in all, we'll see similar conditions again tomorrow. Showers and storms in the afternoon. The summer pattern we can't shake now. Took us a while to get into it, and now we're seeing it continuing, and will stay that way, it looks like, right through the weekend, although less of a chance comes on Saturday and Sunday as some drier air moves in. Well, I mentioned the system that was hanging around last week. It was kind of like the remnants of what we saw with Florence. It moved out by a front hung up, and then from that, a little area of low pressure started to develop, and now it's worked its way over all the way to just southeast of North Carolina, bringing rainfall there already. They're not going to see an excessive amount of rain, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some scattered showers and storms bring up to a couple of inches in some areas that don't need it. There's the forecast. A lot of the forecasts take it off to the north and then to the northeast by tomorrow evening as a cold front picks it up. Well, the tropical season, the hurricane season, is not over yet. Goes on until November 30th, and you can see this area right here, the remnants of Kirk, showing some deep convection there, but the story is it's moving so fast that it's unlikely that it's going to be much of a storm. The next storm up would be Michael, followed by Nadine. We've already had 12 named storms, which is slightly above average so far for the season. We still have 2 months to go. 85 now in Orlando, 79 in Sarasota, and 85 in Miami. Currently, southeast winds for boaters. Tomorrow, west winds in the afternoon, 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet with a light chop. And the extended forecast then calling for a good chance for those scattered storms late in the day. Most of the day will be okay. And we'll see less of a chance as we enter into the weekend. Rain chances dropping to 30%, but still high temperatures above average. We'll be right back after this.
The final 2018 Accord clearance is now during our model year-end clearance sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for new Accords. All on clearance this week at your local Honda dealer.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans. And prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free. Call or go online right now.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Welcome back. We are talking about the efforts the City of Venice is making to deal with the causes of red tide. And joining us for more are ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Venice Mayor John Hollick, and Andy Melee, the Suncoast Waterkeeper and Sierra Club VP. Mayor, first, again, what exactly is the City of Venice trying to do here, and is the technology out there to do what you're hoping it could do?
Well, the thought is that fertilizer contributes not to the origination of red tide, but it contributes to a stronger and longer bloom. What we're trying to do is lessen the use of fertilizer and make sure that people that are using it properly, keeping it away from water supplies, not using it during the summer months, things like that, using slow release.
Has anybody said to you, I appreciate what you're doing, but you know what? Mind your business?
Actually, it's the more vocal group is the one that I don't appreciate what you're doing. You're not doing enough, and do more. Abolish fertilizer.
You know, Bob, we've been talking about this all summer long. I have never seen anything like this in my time in Florida. I don't know if you have. I know there's a lot of speculation what the causes are, or could this be a natural phenomenon?
Well, it is a natural phenomenon in that red tide occurs, and it typically develops 10 to 40 miles offshore. And then with tides and wind, it has a tendency to work its way toward the coast, and then it actually increases in intensity due to how much food it can live off. Now, people do know, and some people know, that red tide can actually live off sunlight. It actually can sustain itself just by sun. It uses all different kinds of nutrients to sustain its life. and one of them being obviously runoff from that. I had a chance to talk at the Scalapalooza, which was an event that took place this past weekend for Sarasota Bay Watch, and I talked to a captain there, and he said he drove down, actually boated down Sarasota Bay from Manatee County southward, and he says he's never seen anything like it. The lifelessness of the bay is just incredible.
And Andy, this is actually moving northward. We're hearing about this all the way up into Pinellas County at this point, and in the environmental community, I mean, what is the reaction? Is there an unprecedented reaction to this?
There's an unprecedented reaction in the public. The public awareness of it is fueling a lot of what we're doing. We're concerned about the fact that the scientific community is not paying enough attention to inputs.
Well, let me ask you this, because we've done stories about what Marine is doing. The governor's putting money into this.
Yeah. Well, there was just a big press conference yesterday. Right. Our concern is that think of it as somebody turns on a gas pump and leaves it there and walks away from it. And after a while, people start noticing there's a gas spill, so they come up with detection devices. Let's study this gas spill, and let's try to contain it, and let's try to pick it up with absorbent material, and it's just pouring and pouring and pouring onto the ground. Nobody goes back to the gas pump to just turn it off. It's like that. This is a man-made problem, and it's a simple fix.
We have to take a quick break. We are just getting warmed up on our conversation on the impact fertilizer is having on the environment. We'll continue after a quick break. Stay with us.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
The Players Center presents the wild Broadway season opener, Annie, Get Your Gun. There's no business like show business. This slice of magical American musical theater will thrill you with the classic tunes of Irving Berlin. Call the Players Center at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. Annie, Get Your Gun, September 18th through October 7th. Let's go! On with the show!
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by Batteries Plus, the Florida Lottery, and Sarasota Glass and Mirror.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters. gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Watch Suncoast View weekdays at 9 a.m. on ABC7. You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back. We are talking about the efforts of the city of Venice to deal with the causes of red tide. And joining us for more are ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Venice Mayor John Hollick, and Andy Melee, the Suncoast Waterkeeper and Sierra Club VP. So, Mayor, I know that you have a lot going on here in terms of getting this study underway. And you're asking residents to voluntarily cut back on fertilizer use. I mean, do you really see the day that Venice can pass an ordinance banning the use altogether of fertilizer?
Not until things are changed at the state level. The state precludes us from doing so. Right now, we cannot pass an ordinance at all that deals with the sale of fertilizers. We're preempted on that. And any ordinance that we would pass on on fertilizer use would have to follow the state guidelines. It could not be more strict than the guidelines that the state set. The ordinance that we're under currently was written in 2007 by the county, which is prior to the date that you can't write an ordinance. Our ordinance is more strict than the state. The city of Venice tagged onto it in 2009. The reason we didn't write our own is by the time we tagged on, it was too late to write our own.
And just for people to know, there are certain periods of the year where use of fertilizer is blacked out.
June 1st through September 30th, individuals cannot use fertilizer. Government can, golf courses can, and schools can.
So many questions. Andy, do you see any renewed pressure on the state legislature to do something about this?
I certainly hope so. Since 1992, we were supposed to have numeric water quality standards, and successive governors of both parties have successfully managed to tap dance around it, so we still don't have enforceable numeric water quality standards. If we have numeric water quality standards, and if we have some staff put back into the DEP, because our governor, one of his first sentient acts was to sack about 400 people.
And that's an important point to make, because people, I remember getting an email from a viewer a little while ago saying, you know, what we love about Florida is low taxes, especially if they're moving down here from the Northeast, but it comes at a cost. And in order to keep our tax base low, the governor really has taken it out in agencies like the DEP.
Yeah, and the water agencies, the water districts also. But the point is, if we don't have numeric standards and we don't have enforcement people, we will never know whether the golf courses in the city of Venice are part of the problem or not, and we'll never be able to develop a policy response just to even that small slice of it, let alone what's coming down the Kissimmee River into Lake Okeechobee.
You know, let's take a pause right now and just ask about where we're at. I know Bob, over the last couple of weeks, you have said it would take kind of like a tropical storm for us to wash the red tide out there and kind of break the cycle we seem to be locked into right now. Is that what you maintain, or I mean,
it has to be something. I talked to a school of some kids, first and second graders. They asked me yesterday, when is this red tide going away? I said, no one knows. That's the $1 million question. But I said, think about it as a bathtub, and you drop a dye in it, one little drop of dye in the corner of the bathtub with water. And if you don't stir the water up, that dye stays right there and slowly starts to get up. But now if you stick your hand in there, move it around a little bit, it disperses. Obviously that dye moves over a larger area and it's less and less intense. And that would be good news for the marine life. Obviously, it's the million cells, or even less than that are killing all the marine life that we're seeing right now. And speaking of marine life, the Baywatch, Sarasota Baywatch, the place I went to last week, the Scalapalooza, their idea, and they're getting funds raised for this as well, is to put clams in the bay. Something native to this area. We don't see a lot of clams because for some reason or other seagrasses went out, and so there's not as many clams now. So they put over 1 million clams in the bay, and those clams are feeders and they are filterers as well. They eat the red tide, so maybe that's another solution.
And maybe you're trying to get some of those clams down in Venice.
Yes, I did talk with Sarasota Baywatch, and it has to be next on their list to make sure that when they have sufficient clams come down to Venice, we'll take them.
And Andy, so far we're talking about one piece of the equation here. We're talking about what we can do as homeowners in terms of limiting our use of fertilizers, and we should talk about some of the other alternatives out there. But in this part of Florida, we also manufacture fertilizer, and do you believe that's part of the problem?
It certainly is. 8 of the 10 most intensively productive agricultural counties are just directly north and west of Lake Okeechobee, as is the phosphate mining district. They're right on top of each other, and it's all coming downstream into that lake. The dynamic that's happening right now, unquestionably, is that the nutrients going into the lake are coming out to both coasts in the form of this toxic blue-green algae, the cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria is fascinating. It's been around for 4 billion years. It's one of the organisms that made our planet habitable. It made the atmosphere. It produces oxygen. But when it gets down to the salt water, it dies, releases its nutrients, and then the red tide picks it up and they're off like a shot.
So, Mayor, what kind of conversations have there been between political leaders like yourself and your legislative delegation, and you have a whole bunch of guys, who are trying to run for governor and U.S. Senate and Congress coming through the area? Are you trying to put the screws to them and say, look, we caused this to some degree perhaps, and it's our responsibility to finally do something about it?
Well, fortunately, yes, we do have a few coalitions going that I am part of. There's the Florida Southwest Gulf Coast Coalition of Mayors. There's several others, and I'm in touch with individual mayors as well. Council of Governments met right here in Sarasota County. The City of Venice did send a letter to Governor Scott, and part of that letter was double the state funding for research and fund Moat Marine $5 million a year for a HAB lab, harmful algae bloom.
You get any response to that?
Well, I didn't get a response to it, but ironically, yesterday, $2 million went to Moat Lab for harmful algae bloom. That, to me, is better than a written response.
It's time for final thoughts, and Bob, I'm going to start with you because we want to talk about that. There really are alternatives out there in terms of how to make your lawns more lush without the use of fertilizers. So there are a lot of organic possibilities there. Obviously, you have not used it yourself.
Well, I just let it grow. I don't let it go too high. Just cut it. But as you mentioned earlier, there are alternatives of Florida natural habitats. Instead of just grass, you can have some lemon trees or a grapefruit tree, and you can have stones. Some of the HOAs allow you to get away with that. You don't have to have the necessarily green, plush, lush grass that you see a lot of these places. I think people spend too much time on their lawns anyway, to be honest with you. There's so much, or not enough. You have to realize that the lawnmowers that cut it too, they emit pollutants into the atmosphere as well when it comes to this grass and maintaining those lawns. So, I mean, there are many alternatives that you can do to help out.
But Andy, if any, a lot of our viewers live within HOAs, so it's not just what you do with your lawn and whether you're going to get into trouble if your lawn turns brown, but also the common areas where a lot of HOAs hire landscapers to treat that. It seems like this is an awful lot to bite off right now.
It's tough. I would suggest if there's one take-home message from this show, it's that your viewers realize that this is not really what's happening in the red tide is not an algae problem, it's a nutrient pollution problem, and they should be thinking about asking their elected officials and their candidates if they will support clean water. Elect water. Don't vote the party line, vote the water line.
All right. And Mayor, what is the time frame in terms of the testing and research that you want to do?
Well, we've already passed or given our staff direction to get some metering for our outflows to make sure that we're not sending polluted water out to the Gulf. We have put in a voluntary ban, which people can do immediately. All you have to do is call your company and tell them stop fertilizing. The time frame is as quickly as people want to make it. Believe it or not, a voluntary ban doesn't sound powerful, but all it is a phone call a person has to make. It's far more powerful than us going around door to door to see who's putting what on a lawn.
And that's all we have time for, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of your viewers said about last night's debate between the candidates for House District 72. State Representative Margaret Good was here to debate former State Representative Ray Pilon. They discussed a wide range of topics from red tide to education. So we went to Facebook to see what you think. Who won the debate and who earned your vote? Deb says, after watching, I am voting for Margaret Good. I agree that education and our environment needs to be top priorities. These have suffered from neglect in the past. She is a young voice with new ideas. I'm tired of old men who don't understand the issues faced by young families today. But Steve says, just so you are aware, older people had it much tougher than snowflakes. Really, of today. You were not alive back then, so you don't know. We are still alive today and are forking out our hard-earned money to support the entitled generation who whine about everything and don't want to put hard work in. Okay, but leave the snowflakes out of it. If you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Venice Mayor John Hollick, and Andy Melee, the Suncoast Waterkeeper and Sierra Club VP. When we return, our consumer watchdog, Jerry Zivick, will be here to discuss ways to enhance the safety of your credit card information. Stick around.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
So, you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So, pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college, college goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
Independence U for an independent you.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Welcome back. Ever since the Equifax hack last year, people have been worried about their personal information getting leaked or hacked. So how can you protect your credit information? Here to discuss all of this is our For Your Benefit segment and consumer watchdog Jerry Zivick. So Jerry, we can't talk about this often enough. It is happening to all of us almost on a regular basis that you start seeing charges on your credit statements that something's going on. I know it happened to my family just this very week. And there are some certain things that we should be doing on a regular basis, like what?
Well, consumers actually got a big break. Just last Friday, a new law was enacted that allows you to put a credit freeze on your account. Credit freezes are also known as security freezes as well. And what it is only you will be able to access your own credit information. You do this with the 3 different credit agencies, and this is the absolute best way to protect yourself.
So when you put a credit freeze on there, you could still access your information, and who can and who can't?
Well, basically it's only you that can access your information, but however, if you have a previous debt or a previous legal problem, they too can access your credit information as well. But you're also able to get an annual credit report for free. That's not cut off if you put a credit freeze on. And what had happened is when the big Equifax hack took place, the 3 major companies offered all kinds of programs, and it was terrible, and consumers were being abused. They were allowed to place a freeze on, but then they would be charged money to take the freeze off. And then they would sometimes take days to put the freezes on, or take days to take the freezes off. Now it's free to take it off or on, and they have 1 day to put the freeze on, and if you call up and you want the freeze off, they only have 1 hour to take it off.
Right, and we were talking before we went on the air, there are certain things that you should be doing periodically that one has to do if you have been hacked, and you get new credit cards, but then you have to change for all the businesses that we do that have monthly debits, you have to change those cards. In the big picture, it's a good thing, but it takes a lot of work from both the consumer and the companies that you're doing business with.
Well, absolutely, it's a time consumer. However, you are responsible for your own credit. Nobody else is responsible for it. And if you do not protect yourself and take every reasonable avenue to protect yourself, you're putting yourself at risk. What happens if somebody goes in and wipes out a bank account? Try and get that money back. That'll take days and months to cure. So even though you don't like spending the time, better to spend it in small increments than to lose days at a time.
Jerry, always good advice. Thank you. Jerry Zivic joins us every other Tuesday in our For Your Benefit segment. When we return, Bill Cosby was sentenced today. Is he going to prison? And if so, for how long? But right now, let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. And skies are clearing at times across the Sun Coast. Still, though, some heavy rainfall. There's a flood advisory now for South Sarasota County into western portions of Charlotte County as well. This is the Van Wezel webcam showing most of the rain over. Boy, beautiful colors there just about 5 minutes ago. Sun now below the horizon. And the storm we were watching here, reconnaissance aircraft has been flying into it. The National Hurricane Center says that although the system is now becoming better organized, it looks like we are starting to see some winds picking up and near the system. It's heading off to the northwest now, expected to clip eastern portions of North Carolina and bring some rainfall there tonight and tomorrow morning. Boy, we've had our fair share of rain lately, especially down in South Sarasota County, where yet another flood advisory 2 days in a row now. We've had in excess of 3 inches in some locations. It's still raining there too, right where that flood advisory is located. We'll show you that in a minute, near Inglewood, near South Venice, stretching off toward War Mineral Springs, and starting to wind down in Port Charlotte, though. You'll get a look. I'll get rid of the lightning and show you the heavier rainfall now continuing from South Sarasota County northward up to I-75. And that's pretty much the bullseye where the flood advisory is in effect. You can see that area in green that outlines the area that has had excess of 2 inches of rainfall in just a short period of time. It's having an impact on over 13,000 people. And here's some rainfall estimates from the Doppler radar site. 2.5 nearly inches of rain near Rotunda, just north of Rotunda, southeast of Inglewood. About 2 inches near and not too far away from War Mineral Springs, 2.6 in the northwestern portion of Charlotte County. So a lot of rain. We're going to see more tomorrow. It's going to set up with the afternoon and evening variety of storms. For tonight, we'll see light rain lingering up until around 9 o'clock, and then this model suggesting maybe another piece of energy moving through, but it won't make it because all the day's energy and heat, today's highs were in the low 90s, will be used up from the previous storms around. But as I mentioned, we'll start off tomorrow really quite nice, and then we'll end up with showers and storms in the afternoon and evening like we've seen. Pretty healthy looking in terms of outflow right now, but the story is some upper level winds are going to increase in intensity over the top of it, and that will not allow this to really get going too much. There's no real area of centralized low pressure system at this point, but we are starting to see some deeper storms developing around what appears to be a center forming there. So we'll watch it, and it's not going to be a big impact in the Carolinas, but it wouldn't take much rain to cause more flooding problems there. This system is getting healthier and more than likely to become another tropical cyclone, an 80% chance of it developing. We're starting to see some good outflow in some of the quadrants there as it makes its way off toward the west. And as far as the tropical tracker goes with that system, here's the forecast. It's going to stay on this westerly course. Some bend it off toward the northwest, while others keep it on a westerly course. But inside here in the Caribbean, the winds, the shear effect of this is pretty strong, and most of the models open this up to a wave by about mid-part of the Caribbean. So good news on that front. We'll watch it closely. Obviously, it's going to cause some problems to the islands there. Temperatures have cooled as a result of the rain, although still pretty warm well inland, and looks like we will see lows tonight down into the mid to upper 70s. The high today was 91, above average, 95 the record, and we're going to stay in the 90s right through the rest of this week, it looks like. For the beach and boating tomorrow, winds will be less than 15 knots, right around 5 to 10 knots. Seas running less than 2 feet with a light chop out there. The extended forecast then, good chances for scattered afternoon and evening storms through Thursday. Less activity, but still there on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And notice those highs stay right around 90. Alan will be back right after this. Stick around.
It's Venice Toyota's monumental model year-end clearance. Rates are rising. For a limited time, 0%. New Toyotas, $8,000 off. With Camrys and Corollas, your choice from $19,900 to $15,000. Shop 24/7 at VeniceToyota.com.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay. Let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
I need medical exams, things like that.
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number, or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance. Call or go online now.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
The world is a beautiful place again.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
It's Venice Toyota's monumental model year-end clearance. Rates are rising. For a limited time, 0%. New Toyotas, $8,000 off. RAVs and Highlanders from $26,900 to $2,900. Shop 24/7 at VeniceToyota.com.
Checking primetime headlines, Bill Cosby is heading to prison. The judge in the comedian's sexual assault case sentencing him to between 3 and 10 years behind bars. Camilla Brunel is outside the courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
For decades, the defendant has been able to hide his
his true self and hide his crimes, using his fame and fortune. Finally, Bill Cosby has been unmasked, and we have seen the real man as he is headed off to prison.
A Pennsylvania judge has ordered Bill Cosby to spend 3 to 10 years in state prison, denying the defense attorney's request for house arrest. They had argued Cosby is blind and only a danger to himself. The 81-year-old, known for decades as America's Dad, was convicted in April of drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant in 2004. Before he was sentenced, the judge labeled Cosby as a sexually violent predator. The classification means he will have to register with state police and attend sex offender counseling for the rest of his life. His accusers say it's a punishment fit for the crime.
They feel that what was done to them was sexually violent, and that the person who did it to them is a sexually violent predator.
His lawyers say they plan to appeal the convictions.
Mr. Cosby's defense team is preparing a motion to address Mr. Steele's use of falsified evidence. Mr. Cosby clearly has been denied his right to a fair trial.
President Trump has spent years saying the rest of the world is laughing at America, but today it was Trump who got laughed at by other world leaders. As he was addressing the UN General Assembly, he started his speech by proclaiming his unprecedented success as president, a line that typically gets applause at his campaign rallies, but the diplomats and the leaders in the hall weren't exactly impressed. They were amused.
My administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
The embarrassing moment came as Trump made his second address to the UN General Assembly. He went on to emphasize his hardline stance on trade, Iran, and North Korea. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.